Custom read the affirmation. Tēnā tātou katoa. We seek wisdom, understanding, insights into the views and circumstances of others, strength to seek what we believe in, humility to accept the combined decisions of others, patience, good humour at all times, tolerance and courtesy while working in the best interests of our community. First of all, we have apologies. I have received apologies from Councillor Denise Lee, from Councillor Penny Hulse for lateness, and from Councillor Fletcher for possible early departure if we run past our lunchtime. So I move that those apologies be accepted. Seconded. Councillor Collins. All those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Carried. Declaration of interest. Is there any councillor who feels that they may have a conflict of interest that they need to declare for the meeting today? If not, confirmation of minutes.
Sorry, I do have a conflict, item 14.
On item 14.
Councillor Cooper may have the same.
Hang on, sorry.
Okay, that will be noted. I'm not sure whether that would require your absence from the table.
No, I don't, Mr Chairman, I don't consider I do. We're just appointing the councillors to be on the panel that choose that group. So it's just a machinery.
I think we just note the interest that both of you have. They won't necessarily be in conflict and require your removal from the table. Okay, we have two sets of minutes for confirmation, the 15th of December last year and the 9th of February this year. I move that those motions be confirmed. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. Carried. Acknowledgements. There are a couple of acknowledgements I'd like to make, possibly take slightly longer than normal. But the first, just an acknowledgement of the earthquake that affected the Northern South Island and Wellington recently, and also remembering that yesterday was the 6th anniversary of the Christchurch earthquake. So last night I was thinking of exactly what I was doing outside the CTV building on that night in Christchurch, and they are pretty tough memories. But today I'd like to acknowledge the efforts of Councillor Sharon Stewart in assisting members of the Taiwanese community to provide support to those affected by the earthquakes in Christchurch and Kaikoura. Councillor Stewart has a long association with the Taiwanese community, and in particular with the Buddhist Compassion Relief Group, the Tzu Chi Foundation. I note that way back in 1999, when a large quake struck in Taiwan, which killed 2,400 people and injured 11,000, Councillor Stewart was instrumental in organising a privately funded New Zealand search and rescue team to travel to the region to assist in the recovery effort. Consequently, when we were afflicted by a quake or quakes in New Zealand, the Tzu Chi Foundation sought Councillor Stewart's assistance in arranging access to the earthquake-hit areas so that they could provide assistance to those communities. And that included, just before Christmas, a very generous donation of $125,000 by the Buddhist group. And I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Stewart's efforts and call on the governing body to do so. I'll do that formally in just a second. I'd also actually like to acknowledge the efforts of our council group, Stephen Town, because I think it's probably gone right below the radar that we sent, I think it was 38 staff members down to help in Kaikoura over that period of time. And that's what you'd expect a fraternal or sororal group, whichever you want to call it, to do when we've got another area of New Zealand's community in need, that we should give help where that is possible. So can I acknowledge both Councillor Sharon Stewart and the efforts of the council staff, the 38 members of council staff organised by John Dragicevic, who helped out when our fellow New Zealanders needed assistance. Maybe we could acknowledge that by acclamation. My second acknowledgement is in relation to the New Zealander of the Year awards last night. If I'm sounding slightly tired, it's because it finished very late at night, but it was probably one of the most moving events that you go to when you see people that are there that are helping their fellow New Zealanders without expectation of recognition or reward. And I'd like to acknowledge all of those nominated for the awards, but particularly the winners. The Young New Zealander of the Year was Aucklander Rez Gardi. Rez came to New Zealand as a 6-year-old Kurdish refugee, and she is now a trained lawyer, and she dedicates her life to fighting on behalf of other people who are disadvantaged, and gave a brilliant speech last night. The Local Hero of the Year award was another Aucklander, Hayden Smith. Some of you will be familiar with Hayden. He founded Sea Cleaners Trust. That's spent the last 14 years cleaning waste out of the Waitemata Harbour, and they've literally cleaned hundreds, if not thousands, of tonnes of waste from the harbour. The New Zealand Community of the Year award, and acknowledging Councillor Newman, because it's in his area, and he is associated with it, was Randwick Park. Many of you will be familiar with Randwick Park as a low-income community of about 5,500 people, very multicultural in South Auckland, and the people in that community have worked for a decade to provide sustainable change around a sense of care, belonging, ownership and responsibility in the community. And really proud to see the Manarewa local board and Councillor Newman alongside Randwick Park. It was a great achievement. The Innovator of the Year was Professor Ed Gain, again from Auckland Hospital, and Professor Gain instrumental in developing a cure for hepatitis C. That's huge. Sue Patterson, not from Auckland this time, Senior New Zealander of the Year, a living legend in the arts and dance community, and the New Zealander of the Year was Taika Waititi. And I can't think of anybody since Billy T. James that has been able to draw New Zealanders together so that we can laugh at ourselves, and incredibly creative and incredibly talented. So perhaps we can again show our appreciation of those winners and all of those who contribute to our community as volunteers. Right. Next item on the agenda are petitions, and there has been an accepted request from the Howick Ratepayers and Residents Association. Could I ask Gayleen McKerith to come forward, please, and speak to her petition? As she's doing so, I just note for the information of councillors that the association can be heard in light of the fact that a decision now has been taken at the High Court, and the decision has been taken by the group not to appeal that decision at the High Court or the Environment Court. Gayleen, welcome to the table, and the floor is yours. You've got 5 minutes to outline to councillors the purpose of your petition.
May I just explain what I have in the box first?
You certainly can.
The petition. Yes, this is a verified set of people who've signed our petition, and this here are the signed copies of the hand-collected ones. You, the Mayor, will be receiving the electronic copy from the change.org website today, but all of them have been included in this set of files. All of them, almost without exception, are from Auckland. We did not open it to anyone else, so these are the people who know how our community works. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, no. When we hold in our hands these 6,712 verified bona fide signatures, we're speaking for every signatory, asking the council to heed the people of Auckland. Could we have the PowerPoint just running through, please, as I speak? demand the iconic views from Stockade Hill and Crawford Reserve be preserved for posterity, not blocked by apartment buildings forming a wall from Bleak House Road to Park Hill Road. We stand proud, very proud, at this huge upwelling of support, many of whom are behind us, and many who are here in spirit. Proud because these are the signatures of individual people to whom this view from Stockade Hill and Crawford Reserve means so much. Those who signed are your Auckland's constituents, including others, sons and daughters, who still hold the magic of that view in their souls and want to return to the same view, although now far flung round the globe. This place and this view is our Waitapu for Hawaiians. It is our memorial to our war dead, and it is the birthplace of our combined history. So many present-day Hawaiians can trace their ancestors to the early settlers who sheltered here on Stockade Hill. Our people came by sea. Howick Beach is our Waka landing place. Stockade Hill is our site of significance to all citizens, and the views of the Gulf are our tonga. Under the Treaty of Waitangi, our rights, Maori and Pākehā, are equal. Rangitoto, Mota Korea, Motahi, Mota Tapu, Rakino, Noises, Waiheke, Little Barrier, Coromandel, Great Barrier, the Waitakere, so who knows? Mount Albert, One Tree Hill, the Sky Tower. As we reel off the names, we look at these landmarks, which are the compass of our lives, all visible from Stockade Hill. There is nowhere else where such a view is available in Auckland, and it must be protected. What on earth? Sorry, you've loaded the wrong PowerPoint. May I stop for a second? May I stop for a second? It's completely the wrong PowerPoint that's been loaded. Is it possible to stop and change? I will give you back my flash drive because you've loaded another one that was on my. It's nothing to do with this. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. It's just,
I beg your pardon. Is it possible to reload?
Yeah, we'll reload it. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry about that. I did say petition, but it's obviously loaded an earlier one on my flash drive. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to verify it. Apologies for all of this. Gracious me. Sorry about this. It's a real unfortunate incident, shall we say. Sorry about this, love. I don't know which. Just hold on for a second until we find it. It's got petition on it. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, it was just a business association one that we were doing for the tourism. Apologies.
Carmel here.
Have you found it?
Yep, I think we're getting there.
Thank you. So sorry.
It's okay. We're now looking at the right thing, just
Yes,
to
we
confirm.
are looking at the
Thank
right
you.
thing now,
Right.
yes.
Please proceed.
Yes, just there's a schematic view of a square showing some of the properties affected. We're only asking for a very, very few properties that we're talking about. Right, if you just let it run through its natural 2 seconds or whatever it is, pause, I'd appreciate it. I'll take up again. The independent hearings panel stated clearly when they wrote their final recommendations that the council must work with Howick ratepayers to establish an enduring view shaft from Stockade Hill. These are the views which relieve the stress, move the soul, renew and invigorate. Here are some of the heartfelt thoughts on our website showing how much this means to the people who live here. The view driving into Howick is what makes coming to Howick an experience. It's like the first sentence of a great book. It captures you. It would be a travesty to block that view from every single person coming into Howick, be it someone seeing it every day coming home from work, or as a tourist coming into Howick for the first time, or me with my young family in a car, seeing the ocean, knowing that feeling of peace. I'm home. Unless you've lived here, these are separate comments, you will never know how special it is to see the sunrise from Stockade Hill. The next comment, this vista that one sees as one comes round the side of Stockade Hill is one of the most beautiful in Auckland. It always brings me peace, no matter what the weather. The range of moods that one sees with the changing weather, seasons and time is magical. One of the benefits of living here is the joy of being able to experience the view in all its moods. Although Crawford Reserve was bought by the council for the very reason of protecting the view for the people in perpetuity, the existing Crawford Reserve view shaft is narrow and inadequate to protect these views now under the new threat of higher development never envisaged before. These views are not for sale to the highest commercial developer at the expense of the people and their taonga. A decision in or out of scope is purely academic. The RMA enjoins you to be the custodian of these environmental assets under Section 6C and 7C.